All right, we are now live here with the live Q&A here with the guy who schooled Antifa in Manchester. So it's me, Peter Sweden here, and on the other line we have uh, we have the guy from Manchester as well. So we're doing this live stream mainly to take your audience questions. Really, if you have any questions for him, because the video went viral with I think over. My video got over 300,000 views so far, and there's also been a few other videos as well. They copied my videos and uploaded it as well, and they got several hundred thousand as well. So I think in total we have almost 500,000 views on your video. And then this second interview we did, we're now up to something like 16, 17,000 views.
Right.
So yeah, so I thought we'd take some order. Is there anything you would like to say at all to start with?
Yeah. Hello to anyone who's watching. I want to just say straight off the bat, Peter. There's been a few comments on, the links and whatnot about what's the guy's name, and my name is Philip Davis. Got no problem with hiding that. Some people are feeling, has he got a problem with being referred to as the black guy? I've got no problem with it at all. I mean, if it makes it easy for people to whatever, if they want to call me the caramel guy, the schooled Antifa, if they want to call me the black guy, if they want to call me Phil Davis, it's up to them, whatever, really. But that's my name anyway, Phil Davis. So hello, everyone.
Phil Davis, okay, yeah. I wasn't sure if you wanted to have your name out there or not, but yeah, excellent. And well, I guess just a quick question myself here. What is your reaction been to the big response? Because there's been a lot of positive comments and so on.
It's been brilliant. It's made me engage that little bit more. I feel it's probably opened up debate with people that probably wasn't on this side of politics, maybe not into politics at all. And even if it just opens up that area for people to question, even to disagree with what had gone on and way it was all dealt with, that's fine also. But it's just opened this debate up for so many people. So I mean that is a positive I take from it all. And there's a few negatives. There's people that have responded in, they're quite a negative way, really. Even close friends. Which is you do. I mean, it's probably a divisive issue when it really gets to the bottom line. So I guess it was to be expected. But I've got my flag in the side of the pitch that I want it to be in. Everyone knows that now. So how they deal with it is how they deal with it, really. It's just onward and upward, really, Peter. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I have a question. Here from a guy here in the chat. He wants to ask you. His name is Lord Frog. He wants to ask Phil if he has heard from Antifa lady since the video.
No, I've not heard a single peep. I mean, as you know, Peter, I'm not the easiest person to contact anyway. But no, I've not, even because I've been interjected and via your YouTube page with various people commenting and wanting to know various things, and I've been answering as best I could. But even through there, nothing's channeled through. Some of my friends are on Facebook, my wife's on Facebook, nothing's channeled through there. So you just get the feeling she's just not interested. And that's fair enough. I've not really tried to look for her either, mate. So it does work both ways, I guess,
I don't know. I think there's some people that are not. Maybe she's gone into hiding. I don't know.
It could be. I'd love to know. I'd love to know how she dealt with it all, because I've been totally open about what's happened. I've explained why I felt the way I did, and I've even probably put in a few more points added on top of that. Whereas this lady, the other side of it all, has said nothing, done nothing. Now, I'm not blaming her for that, because I can see at some point why you would kind of want to just stay out of it and just keep your head down, and maybe people forget about it, maybe change the colour of your hair, You know, just slight little touches. Maybe don't wear that T-shirt again. Maybe don't wear that leather jacket again, and I might just get away with it. But I don't know, mate. Maybe she's more double down than ever, Peter. You know, it's hard to say. I'd love to know.
Yeah, the brainwashing can be quite strong with some of these leftists, sadly. But yeah, hopefully she comes over to the right side, as you said as we talked about down in Manchester. Because I myself, I wasn't I wasn't this red pilled just a few years ago. People, you don't know what can happen. People can start to learn the truth and get awake. Everyone can do it, even far left people. I know far left people who have. I know.
There's a lot of triggering. It depends on what event. You know, it can be. I mean, I got kind of red pilled probably years before that. In a sense, I've always been into ancient structures and pyramids and Egypt and archaeology, and and you start to think, well, what the mainstream tell you about that, it doesn't really correlate with what I'm actually seeing and this, that, and the other. So I probably had them questions from a long time ago. I mean, 9/11, it just totally blew it out the window, and then the word false flag kind of come into play.
Yeah, 9/11 was quite a big thing. With I think many people think there's something suspicious with 9/11. It's after that they've used it to introduce all of this so many bad laws that have restricted freedom and liberty after 9/11. And they're really been pushing towards a globalist kind of globalist new world order kind of thing after that a lot.
You can kind of see the totalitarian tiptoe coming in. I mean, if the PNAC report was anything to be believed, and the quote, "We need a new Pearl Harbor," and then shortly after 9/11 started, and then, but I mean, if the so-called conspiracy theories are to be believed, then you can go as far back as you want. The Gulf of Tonkin, the USS Liberty. There's so many different things. So
many false flags.
Yeah, so it's been going on for so long, but I do feel they've been able to get away with it.
Yeah.
But nowadays with the internet,
they can't anymore with all social media and internet and YouTube. And that's why I want to try and censor YouTube and Twitter and social media now, because the truth is getting out and they are losing their grip on the narrative.
Yeah, I mean, when you heard in the Trump election with the Google changing the search engine, so when you tapped in certain quotes, it was manipulating through the algorithms and sending it to something else instead of to actually what people really wanted. So when you know that any of these organizations have got that much control, and it depends if they're left, right way of leaning, it depends, but if they've got an agenda, then they're going to use that tool as a tool of manipulation, and that has probably come out over this election for me, just how manipulative, even from 9/11 and whatnot, and BBC with it,
I think this US election has really showed how fake the mainstream media is. You have seen all the big mainstream media, how they've just it's been totally fake news, total manipulation, lying, fake news, and this Russia stuff is just getting ridiculous at this point. And
I think they've kind of threw the towel in on the Russia thing now, haven't they? I think they've really, I mean, it's not, they're not going to stop.
A little bit,
Yeah, but I think because the narrative is starting to twist, as in people now are seeing, maybe not the mass populace, but certainly everyone's, most rational folks like me and yourself, Peter, and all of you is probably watching tonight, seeing through all that and know. And
the funny thing is, after election, the mainstream media invented this fake news narrative to try and label alternative media as fake news, but it just blew straight up in their faces. It's now fake news has now become synonymous with the mainstream media. Donald Trump is using it all the time to describe CNN and all this mainstream media that are the real fake news, because we, the alternative media, are the ones getting the real truth out there. You know, Alex Jones, Rebel Media, people like me and others.
Judge Report,
Yeah.
Breitbart. There's so many different outlets, and it all depends on your flavor. It's like going into a sweet shop. Each one of them different have got their own little different flavor, but they're all collaborative in a way that they've all got the same message. The government is just getting more and more tyrannical, whether it be in America, as in England, as with Europe. We're seeing it all over.
Especially Sweden.
Yeah, exactly. We're seeing it all over. So even though sometimes I think to myself, well, why am I not watching a more British kind of end of it? And it's like, it don't really matter anyway to a degree, because these policies work overseas. I mean, the policies tend to go transatlantic as fast as it is to make a phone call. As one politician is saying one thing, the next politician in the next country along is saying pretty well, if they're inclined and they're in the group, then they're all going to follow suit regardless. So I think America being the big superpower is probably where I've looked at for the last couple of years, but obviously looking at a little bit internally as well. But you can see it. The writing's kind of on the wall when you see it.
Yeah. George Bell here asks, Phil, biggest threat, EDL/far right or Antifa/far left?
Well, there's only one answer there, really, isn't there? I mean, like I say, I'm a product of the 70s. I grew up in 1970. The far right was probably in power at his strength. I think it was Heath that was in power then. So, to change the subject, but it's now come out that he was a paedophile and into, sacrificial stuff and all that kind of stuff. But I digress. But so, yeah, I mean, far right in the 70s was that type of organization, whereas now, I mean, I've not looked at the far right, but I don't see them as a threat as I'm walking down the street.
No, I think from what I've seen back in like 80s, 90s, you had this kind of skinhead guys with tattoos. Not really a serious organization. Today, what they call far right today is just normal nice guys who want to stop mass migration and stop
got genuine concerns. Yeah. There's nothing wrong with that. And to be intermingled with that, there will be some people that do want black people out. So I'm not going to beat about the bush and say, but just like I'm not seeing too many people on the far right that's going out and make that apparent in every news report I see, every bit of media that I'm watching is being aggressive against me, whereas the left are the ones that are doing the damage at the moment, to me.
Yeah, you see all the mainstream media, they're going about, far right, dangerous. But we look at what's actually happening. Look at Hamburg, you have this Antifa far left. You look at in America, you have this, in Berkeley, you have this far left guys beating up people, looting, rioting, burning stuff. It's them that are the violent guys.
Well, I mean, if it's to be believed, I mean, like what you said before, mate, Soros. I'm not saying he's the Bond figure stroking the cat, but to a degree, he plays a big role. If it's to believe how much he finances,
oh yeah, definitely.
He is, all he's doing is agitating. There's no kind of, let's put out another side of debate and try and win it fairly through the, ideas, and the best ideas will work. It's nothing to do with that. Let's just cause ruckus.
Yeah, George Soros, he actually is funding a lot of these far left groups. In Sweden, for example, I know for a fact, in Sweden, George Soros has been funding several far left Antifa organizations. One of them called Expo, for example. And George Soros have been paying them loads of money to try and combat the Swedish Democrats, which they are a kind of nationalist party. They want to stop migration. They don't like it. They want to stop the Islamization of Sweden. And George Soros has been funding a lot of money to this Antifa group because in Sweden, these Antifa far left guys have a lot of media publications, a lot of websites and so on. And they actually work a lot on trying to dox right-wingers. If there's a right-winger posting something against migration on Facebook or on a forum, these left-wingers these Antifa will actually go around trying to dox them and then give their info to the mainstream media newspapers, who then come to their door and harass them, put their picture in a newspaper. And so George Soros is actually funding these groups in Sweden to try and combat the Swedish Democrats. But the Swedish Democrats look like they'll probably win the next election anyway. But, you know, if George Soros is against one party, you know that party is probably the right party to vote for.
Of course, because, I mean, you know by his actions what his intent is. You know, I mean, if he had honourable intentions, then, I mean, have I got a calculator to add up how much money that guy has probably spent over the past 20 years in funding? Now, if he had the true intentions on humanity, would he not put that to some more positive use? He could have bought an island. If he's got this open policy, he could have bought his own little island. He could have really dressed it all up very nice for anyone who wants to come in there because they are a product of the war or whatever. Now, he's not choosing to do that, you know, through political policies. You know, you've just got a mass migration of people going from A to not even the neighbouring country, which it used to be.
No, they go from lots of Africa.
Countries. Yeah. It's like a kangaroo just skipping. Oh, I don't need to go there. I'll go right there, and it's like. So
I'm going to Sicily here in a little over a week to report on the migrant crisis there. I will and I've done some research, and you see where they're coming from. They're all coming down from Africa, a lot of them, and they're just going straight up to Libya, and they just get put in some of these boats there, and they have these NGO vessels who are supported by Soros, funded by Soros, George Soros, and they basically act as a taxi service. They go down to Libya's coast. They ferry them up to Sicily, and then they go back down, pick up more migrants, and up to Sicily, and up and down. And they are funded by George Soros. You got this huge vessel. They have to pick up 1,000 people a day, and you have several of them working there as well. And then they go from there, take the train up to Germany and Sweden, England. It's just a mess.
It's a joke, mate. It's not even a mess. Is probably you're being kind to them, mate. They know what they're doing. I mean, they know they're transforming whole of Europe. And
they're deliberately trying to replace Europe from what once was.
If that's the intention, then, Peter, I'd be like, well, tell me that's the intention. But don't try and tell me it's because I should feel guilty of a war I didn't really subscribe to. Weapons of mass destruction. You know, I mean,
they're doing it in a very subversive way. They're doing it by stealth.
It's doublespeak. They're trying to tell you one thing when in reality the agenda is something else. I much prefer I respect anyone if they're going to be more open and tell me that they hate me for whatever reason, and at least I can go, right, well, fair enough, disagree. But don't look at me with them hated eyes, but then want to shake my hand and act like you love me, because that is really two-faced. And I've never been brought up like that. I just kind of say, if you're not happy about something, it kind of shows. And I don't believe in masking things. So for these intelligent, highly intellectual people, all in this school of, well, I was going to say another word, but I won't say that, of very strange people that like to feel young people. Let's put it that way. You know, in this little school that they've got, you would think that they would know that. So let's assume that they do know that, and let's get to the next stage now, instead of getting to the point of, well, they should know that. They do know that, you know. If they lived on the same streets that you and I lived on, mate, they'd probably feel differently, but because they live in the society,
they're shielded from what's going on.
Exactly.
That's the way it is in Sweden as well, quite a lot. And I have a question here from Ben. And by the way, guys, for you that are viewing this stream, please leave a like and share this video with your friends on social media. And I will be trying to get as many questions as I can. Ben here asks if you have any plans to start your own YouTube channel.
I've been thinking about it, Peter. I didn't really want to come out too much. I've just always been really into geopolitics and, like I say, all kinds of stuff that questions narratives of all different types, whether it be pharmaceutical, whatever, the monetary, the financial side of it. I've got so many different questions. Even the flat Earth theory. I mean, I'm not saying I believe it, but there's certain things that come into it. You think it does it. I mean, and that's what.
Yeah, I had a look at flat Earth before. They have a few interesting points. I don't think the flat Earth is true, but they have a few interesting points which are interesting
That's
to look
it.
at.
That's it. I mean, it's not for anyone to kind of jump straight over. The last thing I try and do is watch one documentary of anything and kind of then get my hypotheses of how I think life is run from that one documentary. I'll just run on, spin on, and then you have a more informed view. But going back to the question, I am interested in setting something up. If it's going to be done at the moment, it'll be done very raw, just literally with a camera and just me ranting. I've no idea where it's going to go.
That might be popular. A lot of people. That's quite popular among a lot of YouTubers.
That's what I'm good at, Peter. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm just kind of good on going off on one, and who knows where it could go, and I could end up kind of parallel coming back on myself or just running off in something else. So I've really no idea. It's hard because you don't know how, because of the strength of what's happened here. I'm very mindful. I don't just want to put out a 20-minute rant and start talking.
Yeah, no, I think that might be popular. I think a lot of people will watch that. And
right.
Ockham Talkers, if you have a Twitter account, I don't think you do. No. Let's see if I have any more good. I saw a question here from. We have a question here. Do you think Sharia law should be, and halal slaughter should be made illegal in the UK?
Well, this would be a good bargain. You can have Sharia law in this country if I can go in your country and openly eat a bacon sandwich walking down the street. And, we know what the answer is going to be.
That's not going to happen.
Well, exactly. So, it's not about a disrespect of any culture or what they want to do. If that's what you want to do, fine. But you've got to appreciate that we have certain rights as well. So if you're saying to me that I can't go in your country and, my wife is a lovely white lady, beautiful white skin, blonde hair, but yet if she was to go in them countries, the first thing she'd have to do was cover her hair up. So it's like, but you can come over here and then I've got to totally respect your views. I'm all up for respecting your views. It sounds like you in my views. So it's
we do our thing here and they can do their thing there, but don't impose anything on us.
Yes.
I think that's...
And by the way, I like me bacon cider with ketchup. My wife loves it with brown sauce. I'm a ketchup man, so if a question comes up like that,
I don't know. I've tasted brown sauce. There's nothing like brown sauce in Sweden. Brown sauce tastes a bit like barbecue with some, I don't know, some kind of fish or vinegar in it. I don't know.
We grew up on the old HP, mate, so it just seems normal to me. But I can appreciate if you've never tasted it before. Me and his daughter has never done HP, never done brown sauce. She tasted it for the first time. I mean, I don't know why we've gone here. This is what I mean, mate. This is where my video would go. I just end up talking about food before, because I love my food. But she kind of tasted the HP and kind of looked at me and go, I don't know whether I'm feeling this. She's got a basic palate, you see, so. A bit distinctive, but no, I don't think it's wise for anyone to adhere to anyone's laws without being that mutual respect of a side. I can be as flippant as I want, but I mean that's the basic point. Really, it's just wrong, isn't it? You know what I mean?
Yeah. We have a question here from No More. He calls himself. He wants to know if you're going to join the next Justice for Chelsea march in Sunderland.
Oh, okay. When would that be at?
That's going to be on Saturday, the 15th of July, so that's in 6 days. 6
days' time? Okay. I've not actually thought about it, to be honest. We're one way or the other, mate. I'm just trying to get my own kind of life in order. But no, I totally I've seen different videos regarding this topic. Totally, I can't believe it. It's just an indictment of where we are. So it doesn't surprise me.
Yeah.
Fully support Tommy Robinson for getting fully behind it. If I could get up there, and I would love to go. I would love
Yeah.
to go because it's a cause that's fully worth everyone in the country. I mean, that's the other thing, Peter. I mean, the thing why I was probably charged up on the day of that rally that we met, the visual got the whole mass media, got the whole love and sympathy and affection off everyone, which was great. I'm all up for John Lennon, you know, Kumbaya, but the bottom line was it was absolutely useless, and it just told people this is fine. Once you've done that, that's no problem. No one wanted to talk about the elephant in the room. No one wanted to really point fingers at anything, not even a certain race, even though it's not a race, it's an ideology. But no one wanted to talk about that. They just wanted to kind of go on. So it kind of charged me up a little bit that when I went there, I wanted to go there to show my solidarity to this cause, because I felt that
because the threat of radical Islam is a threat both against white people and black people and
well, you know,
all races.
There could have been a pocket of black people in that area where that guy bombed or whoever bombed. There could have been a pocket of whoever people. It's irrelevant, you know. So I don't think it's for any particular person of the different skin color to what has actually died to start going, oh well, you know, you're protecting whitey, or you're a bit of a, you know. It's just it's a redundant argument. It's silly. These are people. We're all people here now that have all.
I mean, I saw at the rally at the UK against hate rally in Manchester. I saw many other black people there as well.
Right.
I even met one of my fans there, a black guy.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, I saw many more. Yeah, there were quite a few black people there actually. Yeah, I will be going. I will be going. Sorry.
No, I was just going to say, you know, people are going to see through it, aren't they, mate? And you know, I'm not the only one. There's plenty of people, whether they're white, whether they're black, that feel exactly the same way I do. Now, I'm not anything special. I was probably had a bit of guts, had a bit of, you know what, I know pretty much what I'm talking about here, so I can engage in this conversation that then strode to her. And because of the way I handled myself and whatnot, fine. But I think the one thing that kept me through that conversation, Pete, is because I knew I had a balanced view. It's not like I knew everything. I could balance it out. I'm not going to go all one side like she was prepared to go, and which is going to kill debate, going to make anyone in the future not want to be tagged to that because, look, I'm going to be a racist because she says so. And then you think, well, she don't know where she's at anyway, so why should you take her point of view? So, yeah, it's up for people to really kind of just look at the whole picture, into it. You know what I mean, Peter?
Yeah, no, and and just on the Justice of Chelsea march, by the way, I will be there on Saturday. So if you want to come, we might meet up. I don't know, but yeah, I will definitely be there. To you guys watching on the stream, so you know.
Well, Peter, sorry, just while we're on the subject now, let me know your details, and we'll talk about that because I'm interested. I'm interested.
Yeah, I can send you that after the stream if you want.
Sure, man. No problem.
So yeah, and we have so I have a question here. It's Mr. Burns. He encouraged you, by the way, to make a channel. He wants you to do a YouTube channel.
Bless you. Thank you.
Some guys ask a Twitter handle. We already said he doesn't have a Twitter handle, guys, by the way.
I'm not a social media buff, Peter. So Facebook is not really a friend of mine, although I can see the power of it. I can see the good that it does, but I can see what a lot of people around me do with it, which is more, well, you know, I'm going to go to a restaurant and I'm going to take a photo and I'm going to post that picture of my plate of food. And that's going to become the topic of conversation.
That's not a good use of social media, really. Social media should be used for news.
Total waste, yeah. This is what I mean. So, to a degree, even though Manchester's got a lot of people that stand up, Manchester's got a lot of people that are still living on such a small level. It's crazy. It is quite disheartening when you're walking around and you're seeing people so submerged in things that are unimportant in life.
Yeah, they just you see it young kids today. They just instead of talking to each other, you see they sitting at the restaurant, they just on their phone. Both of them are just on their phone, and they don't talk to each other. They talk to each other via the phone.
It's hard, mate, because I've got two kids myself that you know, they want the iPhone this, the iPhone that. It's great, but then I try and tell them about the technology itself, about screen time, about flicker rates on screens, how it can put you in a state of hypnosis, even watching telly. I mean, it's
Well,
so
television
suggestible.
is. I would advise anyone to throw out their TV. I don't have a TV at all because TV with all the because on YouTube is different, because there you can find good material, but on TV they just have crap all the time.
Garbage.
And yeah, total garbage. And the way and I think Alex Jones talked about it, the way the flicker rate on the TV, it puts people into a kind of a zombie kind of mode, so they can just receive their brainwashing. And I think I think Alex Jones is correct on that one, because you see people sit on the TV for a couple of hours and they just you know.
I watch my kids. I mean, I'll be sat on the couch where I'm at now. I've got a three-seater just there. The two kids will probably be sat on the three-seater watching whatever it is, which, you know, I'm not agreeing with, but to a degree, I know the kids, so I've got to allow them certain things, even though I pet the head while we're watching it. And I'm trying to get a reaction. I talk to her, and her mouth's wide open. And she's looking at the screen, and she's totally taking in every bit of information. You think to yourself, wow, you know, if you get into the fact of subliminal messaging, you know, product placement, all that kind of stuff that goes on. And so you can see that within a couple of minutes, they've got kids like that. You know, and I'll be making...
That's how, as I say, people get brainwashed in the schools when they grow up, and then when they're grown up, they continue to receive their daily dose of brainwashing from the mainstream media, usually via the TV. I would say YouTube is different because there you got a lot of good material, but the TV is just no, just throw the TV out. That's what I did, and that's my advice actually. I think if you want to find good stuff to watch, you can just turn on Alex Jones.
yeah, there's plenty of documentaries, plenty of other programs out and available from all different sources. It really does. I mean, the thing with TV listing programming, if these channels have got a certain intent on what kind of content they want to give you, then no wonder they've got a Radio Times, because they've got it sussed out months in advance, the kind of content that they want to keep throwing at you. And they probably have been doing that for years. With the internet, I can go on the internet and I can fly from site to site and do what I want to do, and not kind of be caught in, 7:30 it's X Factor, 8:30 it's Ant and Deck, 9 o'clock Celebrity Big Brother, it's Love Island. And it's just one after the other, to the point now where it seems abnormal not to have some crazy reality show where you've got people running around half naked who haven't got a brain cell between them, but they look good, they've got tattoos, you know, they've done all this, they've done all that, but they just can't string a normal conversation together. I'd love to go in on one of them celebrity shows. Imagine me and you on one of them celebrity shows, mate.
Yeah, that would be good.
We could do it, couldn't we? The Big Brother red pill or something.
But I don't think they would take us on, though. That's the problem. They wouldn't have us on. It would be too much truth.
I can imagine it being like CNN, mate. As soon as we start talking reality and truth, they'll go, "Oh no, the signal's just gone." You know, we'd just be getting just kind of taken off transmission every time we speak. As soon as someone else speaks, the transmission would come back. As soon as we start talking about 9/11, big flat line would start. It's crazy, and it's that blatant that They're all
Yeah.
doing it now. They just want you talking about sedated things.
Yeah.
As long as you agree
Yep.
with the company line, then you can get on the air. As soon as you start talking about something real, whoa.
Yeah. I have a question here from Nicholas Gabriel, a Swedish guy. He wonders what do you think of the influx of migrants? Is it because they want to try and prevent the Swedish and European population collapse because Swedes and Europeans are not having any children? What do you think of that?
Well, why don't they try and promote them said colonies to repopulate? That seems, maybe you've got the bigger question: is it all about the family unit in Christianity? I mean, they've kind of been going the way over the past 20 years to break that down. Single moms now is the norm. It seems abnormal.
They want to destroy traditional families
values,
and Christian values, because that is what made traditional family unit and good traditional Christian values. That is what made the West great. Really, you look at from the 1500s up till now. Back then, you had great architecture. Great countries, and now look at the last 50, 60 years when they just look back in the 50s, look at America in the 50s, excluding a few things that weren't ideal perhaps, but mainly look at the 50s, and it was a lot better than today. After
we used to have what they call a chivalrous society, didn't we? And that come from the kind of family, you had the man that was, I guess he was a bit of a hunter-gatherer in his mentality, but he loved his lady and he loved his kids, and it was all about protecting his family. And then that kind of transcends to every family, and then that family become communities. That community, and it just works.
The man is the income. The man is out working, the income bringer. The wife stays at home with the kids, brings the kids up, tends the house, and while the men are out working, building great society, building great architecture, building great stuff, inventing stuff, and whereas the mothers stayed at home, bringing the children up for the next generation. And but then you had 50s, well, then had the 60s and 70s, the kind of student revolution, hippie things going on, where you had cultural Marxism that's really started to influence the West. You had all this free love.
Just spiking what was actually a decent system that was flourishing.
Yeah, you had all this free love, degeneracy, people just living as they wanted without any discipline. Just and then you start having this so-called equality, where you had women, all these feminists pushing women to work when they maybe didn't want to work, maybe they want to stay home and have kids, because studies have shown that women are often happier staying at home with kids, because that's what they are hardwired to do, really, I think, in just biology.
Can I just say, really I'm not anti women totally fulfilling what they want to do in life. That's absolutely fantastic. I'm quite old school. No, I'm not saying you as either, mate. I'm just saying I'm quite old school in a sense. Yeah, I do believe the man, the woman, the man has a hunter-gatherer kind of role, a kind of a role that looks after everyone. But at the same time, the man reveres a woman, because a woman has the qualities in which a man will never have. True compassion, having babies, all that kind of stuff. And it's a magical partnership, a man and a female. And if both 50-50, it's absolutely brilliant. Now, for any woman to kind of want to have a career doing anything, that's fantastic. I mean, my wife, she's gone from 2 years ago, probably less than that, working at my youngest child's school in holiday club, literally helping out after classes and in holidays, a couple of hours a day, doing that kind of mundane stuff. She kind of slowly got qualified more into that role. She's jumped out of that role now, and now she's gone into like mortgage advising, which she's had to do. You can imagine on an intellectual level the jump that she's had to make for that. Now, she only said to me the other day, it was actually today, something very fickle. She loves the tennis. Now, she was talking about how the only day off that she's probably had was today. There's no tennis today. Now, the first thing she said, I hate work, because she knows that she's got to go back tomorrow and go back to a hardcore day. And now that's the same with anyone, whether you're male or female. But that's what I'm saying. It's even a woman recognizes that, you know what, 2 years ago, I'd have been sat at home now. I didn't have to leave the house till probably 1 o'clock and go and do a couple about, you know. And so
I think if women want to go to work, you shouldn't have a law forbidding them to. Definitely not. No, but I don't think it should be encouraged in the way, you know, feminism
almost like pushing you out.
Have encouraged women to become like men. And that's not right.
Yeah, but almost like you're not a woman if you're not doing the exact equivalent of what the man is doing. And it's like, well, that in itself is a silly statement, because what a man will do and what a woman will do, they're two different creatures. Yeah. You know, Mars and Venus, they always will be. That's why they come together so beautifully. But what feminists are trying to do, they're trying to say, no, we are, as women, are just as good as men. Of course you are, in terms of we're two people, we're two species. You've got a fish and a frog and a fish, you know, a bat and a frigging dog. They're both independently brilliant in their own species, in their own right, but you can't expect one to do the same as the other and start complaining then, because one has got a bit of a hedge up on the other one, because maybe genetics, maybe how the body is built. You know, it just seems silly. And it's like you say, mate, it's just narratives. It's probably building, moving away from the family unit, really, where it could be a bit more wholesome, I guess.
Yeah, no, definitely. I have a question here from, let me see. Randy Watson here has a good question. What do you think of the Antifa lady? She said she was all for peace and love. You know, she had all these badges, but at the same time she was hating on the right-wingers. And I can add as well, just earlier when I was there filming, I remember them, the Antifa, they were chanting, because the marchers, they were, well, I don't know if you saw if you've seen some of the videos, there was this kind of tunnel bridge there.
Just behind you.
Yeah, just behind just behind where we did where we got the video. And on one side of the on the one side there of the bridge was the marchers when they finished, and on the other side was Antifa, and there was a bit of clashes going on there. And the Antifa guys, they started chanting. What did they say? They said, "Refugees are welcome. Throw the Nazis in the sea. Refugees are welcome, and throw the Nazis in the sea." Something like that, or it was like, "We rescue the migrants, throw the Nazis in the sea. Rescue the migrants, throw the Nazis in the sea." It's something like that they were chanting, and that seems like very, very tolerant, kind of liberal. You know, they're all that's very like loving and peaceful. You know,
but where is the common sense in that statement, Peter? That's the most ludicrous thing that you could say. It's absolutely ridiculous. It's like when you get these media. I mean, the media, Hollywood's got a big role to play in this, because they've got a lot of Twitter's accounts and they have a lot of pull with people. And they're spilling all this garbage about how we should let everyone in and we all should feel guilty, which is fair enough. But then when they've got $1 million mansions spread all over the world and they don't house a single person, you've got Saudi Arabia and Bahrain and Qatar that can quite easily, they're more compatible. And is it true Saudi Arabia's got like up to 3,000 air-conditioned tents in the middle of the desert that they don't even do anything with?
Yeah.
So I mean,
no, they have loads of places for migrants. They don't take anyone. Why can't they take any migrants?
So I mean,
make any sense.
Come on, get real. It's absolutely stupid. And I mean, for someone to say that, it just shows where his intellect's at, really. You know, you've got to have a bit of balance. You know, I don't mind anyone if they're a genuine refugee. Jesus. I'm not the type that if someone's swimming across the water because the other side of the water's throwing stones at him, I'm not going to throw stones at him to make sure he doesn't land on my side of the water. I'll freaking help him out. I've got no problem with that. But if I see if he's got a suicide belt strapped on, then I've got a different opinion about it. And you know, or if I see that the ideology is kind of steering more towards that, or is harbouring that, even the so-called moderates that are harbouring. You know, I choose not to really tell on my Muslim friend, even though he's got really radical thoughts, because I can't go against my Muslim faith. And that seems to be quite prevalent. So it's same again. You've got to break the political correctness divide and go, we've got to talk about it. We're not calling them all, but we've got to talk about a certain section, or maybe the outer section from that certain section. It's quite happy to tolerate it. So
I see a lot of people here in the comments, by the way. They really want you to go to Sunderland. For the march. There's one guy here, Lord Frog. He says he can donate the money if you need it to get here to Sunderland.
Oh wow, bless you. No, I don't think money's the issue, my friend. I was probably due to work Saturday, Sunday. I'm a self-employed painter and decorator by trade, so but that's not the issue. It's obviously a bigger issue in hand. I'm really going to look into it. I mean, now I know it's on. I'm going to look into the finance of how to get there, what to do. If there's anyone around me that's prepared to come up with me, or whether it would just be me on my own, I don't know. I'm tempted. I've not even spoken to the wife. The wife's upstairs, so I'm probably going to have to kind of say, darling, you don't mind if I just go out Saturday, do you? I can't see it being a problem, though. But no, it sounds good, because, I mean, the beauty about all this, Peter, is where I've probably felt alone for the past few years, because I'm surrounded with people who are either totally asleep or very liberal-minded. There's only very few that actually see it for what it is. So, I mean, this video and the comments that I've been answering to, I'm reading, there's a lot of like-minded people out there.
There is a lot of people, red-pilled people.
So it's reassuring. So, I mean, that's kept me kind of going, even though it freaked me out for the first couple of days, because I wasn't expecting it.
I wasn't expecting it to go be that popular either. Actually, it became more popular than I expected. It was the video was retweeted by Paul Joseph Watson and then by Tommy Robinson, and then it really took off.
Well, I can understand why, because it totally shatters a paradigm. So I can understand why I was there and my purpose and what I'd done. I didn't do it for that, but I kind of look back in hindsight and thought, geez, you are their worst nightmare, because if you used to stand up and keep doing what you're doing like that, it's like, whoa, you can imagine the damage you do. So I'm fully aware of that. And in a way, I've got to be honest, I mean, that kind of scared me in a sense that I've got a wife and 2 kids, and I thought, you know, I've got to just stand back. There's a bit of normality that my kids, you know, and maybe that was wrong to do that, Peter. Maybe it was wrong. But I'm still just as vocal at this moment in time, using this outlet to say what I've got to say. But certainly with the YouTube channel, that's something definitely for the future, because I've been thinking about doing that for a long time.
Yeah, that might be, as I said, I think that would probably be popular, I think. And there's a lot of people here asking if you know anything about the Kalergi plan. Have you heard about the Kalergi plan?
No, I haven't, mate, no.
Okay, now the Kalergi plan, I know a bit about it. It's basically the founders of the EU. Correct me if I'm wrong, by the way, in the live chat here. I might be wrong on some of these things, but I think from what I understand, the Kalergi plan is basically it's a bit politically incorrect to talk about, especially people behind it, but basically it's some of the founders of the EU. They have this secret plan called Kalergi plan, which they didn't make public, but it's about replacing the European population with the migrants, which is what they basically are doing now. That's what I think it's about. Correct me if I'm wrong, guys, in the chat.
I've heard of that. I've never heard of the actual title before, but I've heard of that. And I must admit that when you look at what's going on, that makes more sense than us protecting a load of people in probably countries that are not even having the conflict that they're trying to make us feel guilty about. I mean, let's face it, if a lot of the countries, you know, the refugees, the migrants, economic migrants that are coming over from, you know, African nations, then what's that got to do with Syria? So you've got to look at that and think, well, maybe, yeah. I mean, there was a story I heard, I think it was last year, maybe the year before. There was a village in Germany that had 1,400 in the village. Now, I've been to a city, I think a little place called Bacharach when I was 11 in Germany. And I know the architecture very much old schooly, kind of Bavarian looking, beautiful, yeah, very villagey, very old, very tight knit. So I can imagine this place being pretty much the same. And then the next thing you know, 4,000 migrants get pushed into that village. So you've got a population of 1,500. I don't know what their reproduction rate was like, but it's probably low. But then you've got 4,000 that are coming in that have got obviously Muslim, or maybe African as well, who knows? But their population rate is a lot higher. So even if their population rate stayed as it was for the next 10, 15 years, they're still overpowered and they're still going to be the more dominant force in that village. But then if they've got...
If you look at Frankfurt now, where white Germans are actually a minority in Frankfurt now. Migrants are actually a majority in Frankfurt. And it's the same in London as well, and it's the same in certain parts of Sweden.
So where does the identity go there, Peter?
Sorry?
Where does the identity go? I mean, each time, each village, each city, each country, you're losing that identity, but the politicians are quite happy with that identity being lost.
Like places in Sweden, like some of the no-go zones, that have a 95% Muslim population. I mean, people make the culture. So if you get all of the people from the Middle East, think of it like this: if you take Indians and just put 100% Indians in one village in the UK, then that would become India. It wouldn't be the UK anymore. That's
common sense.
It doesn't. People, it loses its traditional culture and identity.
Of course.
And that's,
if you're quite happy for that to happen, then explain that that's what's going to happen. But no one's saying that. It's almost like they're expecting the public not to be aware that that is the consequence. You know what I mean? And the only immediate...
The people seem to be sleepwalking into it because of the brainwashing.
Yeah, you got to be guilty. Look at these. And it's the same with the press. I mean, you go back to... You've got manipulative images of the migrants, the little kid that's floating in the sea. And then when they're showing him behind a cage, like wire fence, always seems to be the women and children that are there at the front to make you feel that way. But then when you look into it, they tend to be more military-aged men.
Definitely. So what I've seen, they all seem to be military-aged men, and that's one thing I will be doing when I go to Sicily. I will check out who these migrants are. Are they children? Are they women? Are they men? I will be going there. I'm going to go there to the boats when they are docking with the migrants coming in. I'm going to try and speak to some of the workers, the so-called charity workers. I'm going to try and interview some migrants if they speak English.
Can I just say, Peter, have you seen anyone doing that before?
Some people have, not many.
What response did they get when they get that close to the boats?
Sorry?
What response did they get from not so much the migrants, but the people who are maybe driving the boats?
Oh, you mean the workers? I actually haven't seen anyone interviewing the workers. I've seen people interviewing the migrants, not the workers.
Right.
So that's going to be interesting to see if I will be able to get there. You will be able to go there right up to where the boats are docking, so you will be able to go there. So I'm going to go there. So I'm going to see what it looks like, then report on that, and I'm going to interview locals as well, see what they think about the situation. And also, I don't know if you heard about them, but the identitarians, have you heard about them?
I haven't, no, mate, no.
Okay, it's a right-wing group.
Right.
They want to stop migration. They're actually getting a big vessel. They've crowdfunded it, and they're actually out there sailing right now. And they are basically going to use their vessel to try and stop these NGO vessels funded, these vessels funded by Soros to go down and pick up migrants. they're going to use their own vessel to try and stop them physically.
In what way? Just blockade them, or?
Yeah, that's what it seems like, or try and bring the migrants back to Libya instead of up to Italy.
That'd be great if you could just hook onto the front of their boat. You've got a more powerful boat, and just drag their ass straight.
Just drag them back to Libya.
Yeah. And keep doing it every day.
They got a huge boat. I don't know exactly how many meters. It's something like 30-40 meters. It's a huge vessel. And it seems like they're going to try and blockade the NGO ships from getting the migrants up to Italy. Have you seen there's this program on the Animal Planet or Discovery Channel, these these guys are trying to stop the Japanese whale catchers down in Australia?
No.
Oh, no, okay. No, there's a program. I don't remember the name, but it's a program there. And they are using it. They have a vessel, and they try and blockade the Japanese fishing vessels to stop them catching whales. And they like throw ropes around their propellers and stuff to try and sabotage.
Oh, right. So it's
I'm not sure
like a Greenpeace thing, just kind of infiltrate.
Yeah, it's a bit like a Greenpeace thing that these identitarians are doing. It seems they're going to try and block them from bringing the migrants up to Italy, and they're actually going to be there when I'm there. So I'm going to get interviews with them as well, see what they're up to.
Could you get on the boat with them while that'd be something good, mate?
Maybe.
You know, just have your floaters around your arm, just in case it all goes wrong, and you might have to just jump in.
Maybe I can get on the boat, and we can get down to the Libyan coast, and I can film there the migrants floating around. That would be good.
Well, yeah, I can imagine it being quite hardcore there, though, Peter. Libya.
I know they have military ships and stuff down there as well, working with the NGOs. So that's going to be interesting stuff.
Oh, I'll say, mate, they're certainly protected, aren't they? They must be in the right place to do it.
It's that's the place where there's a front line where the migrant crisis is happening. And by the way, how much more do you want to go? By the way, Phil,
I'll go as long as you want, Pete. I'm fine. It's up to you.
Yeah. Okay. Because I have a few more questions here from a few guys. I want to
that's right. That's no problem.
take. Where was it? I want to find his name. Oliver Starley asked if you know about the Frankfurt school.
That was the school that we were talking about on the way down.
I told you about it a bit.
You did.
Yeah.
You did indeed. Yeah. Quite disturbing. Well, you can see where all these little pillars have popped up over the time to infiltrate and spike what our systems.
They're the ones in the background pushing this stuff that we see today.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny because you can get to know the most interesting sources from the most uninteresting places. I was watching a program 2-3 years ago, and it's an ex-politician, Michael Portillo is called. He's got a program in which he just jumps on an old railway line, and he's traveling throughout the country, and he'll do stop-offs and then starts talking about historically what's been going on in each of these cities, and very well speaking, plumbing his mouth kind of guy. And he comes to Manchester, and he talks about the library. We've got a musical centre called the Royal Northern College of Music, which is pretty central in Manchester. There's a library that's next to that. Now, maybe not a lot of people know it, but it's the oldest public library in the country. Now, what he was explaining in this documentary is that Marx come over, and some of the Communist manifesto was developed in this library in Manchester. It might have been in other places around England as well, but the historian that was talking to Michael Portillo distinctly mentioned that some of the Communist manifesto was done here in Manchester. And it's like, what? And I'm watching a railway program, and I'm finding out your sources from different places. But as you can, what you were saying about the Frankfurt school, as I was with that, you can just see probably countries over Europe have been living a life one way, but quietly there's been other plans that have been going on to kind of get in the middle of it all and change the narrative of the West or Europe or whatever. So, yeah.
We have another question here. George Bell here wants to ask about Brexit. What do you think of Brexit?
I voted out. The Brexit is like the Trump and Hillary thing, really. We won fair and square. They don't like it. They're going to do everything they can to keep us in it. They're going to muddy the waters. You know, it should have happened by now. Whether the politicians are truly going to go with it now or whether
They will try and sabotage. As one commentator asks, do you think the powers that be will sabotage Brexit? I think they are working on trying to. I mean,
if they could do it, they will.
Soros.
It just seems really uncanny. It's like holding a 100-meter race, having the winner, having number second, and then number second goes, well, you know what? You can't have that medal because I'm going to spend the next year proving how you shouldn't have that and how we should have a rematch. When in fact you kind of lost fair and square, just deal with it and get over it.
They have tried that before in other countries like Ireland and I think it in Sweden too. If I remember correctly, I'm not too sure. I think they I can't remember about Sweden, but they did it in Ireland. I know they had two referendums, and
it's wrong. It's just wrong. Yeah. I mean, if you have a referendum and whatever the outcome is, you deal with it and move on. If it would have been Remain, then I'd have just been the same old geezer, got up the next day. I wouldn't have been too happy about it, but I would have just carried on living my life. I would not spend my next 3, 4, 5 years protesting against us getting out. You know, I'd probably just kind of wait for another political arm to kind of bring the question up again, and then I'd vote for that. I've not even voted politically in my life. I'll say that again. I have never voted in my life. The only time I literally voted was for Brexit.
Yeah, I think that's why a good reason why Brexit won, because a lot of people who hadn't voted before came out and voted. Same with Trump as well.
Yeah, well, they kind of assumed, didn't they, that because the silent people that wasn't vote or had never voted before, they didn't know whether they were going to vote, so they assumed they wasn't going to vote. So they kept playing the card. Oh, we've won it, we've won it. And the silent people slowly woke up and go, you know what? No, I'm going to come out and vote. You don't know where I'm thinking, but I'm going to come out on the day and I'm going to show you how I'm thinking. With it being Trump, with it being, you know, what went on with Trump was disgusting to it, and the manipulation and everything else. You know, Hillary stealing Bernie Sanders' vote and stuff. It's crazy. And it's so in your face.
A lot of foul play there. And it's we have D. Smith here asks if you had any negative ramifications from your newfound fame.
Probably positive ones. That the instant that I got a text, the first text, I mean, loads of people were, oh, I can't believe you were on Well Said. Oh, I can't believe, brilliant. Yeah, you're a YouTube legend. Yeah. This geezer who I'm actually working with on a musical level, or was, he texts me, I've got 500,000 views. Talking to me about me, I've got 500,000 views. You have now gone viral. How does it feel being a pin-up for the far right? So when you're getting sarcastic remarks from someone you kind of know and respect and who is intelligent enough, and then when you've got a million other strange people who are just throwing out positive messages and you think, you don't even know me, you could have an opinion either way, but for this guy to do this, and then he followed it up with 300 years of colonialism, and then he followed it up by speaking to other people that were on Facebook that were black, so he wasn't spreading this same kind of negative rhetoric round to everyone on Facebook. He was having private messages with other black people, so he's like he's going to try to get the black vote against me. But I've got to work with this guy in the future, or he thinks I have. Let's just leave it at that. So I've not had any negative.
It's a lot of kind of Uncle Tom thing, is that?
That's what I was called. I was called an Uncle Tom. I was called the token black boy, called a fool. And it's like, sticks and stones, that doesn't bother me. That's
a bit, that's sad. I mean, but it's, you have white people hating white people as well.
Of course, yeah. So
black people hating other black people.
I don't take it too personally. It's just a case of, when you do feel that you've stepped out of the box, and even your own kind is, your own kind. Look, I'm doing it myself. people that have been with you for all them years are trying to pull you back in, even don't recognise what you were trying to do.
Yeah,
I
they're
mean,
stuck in the plantation as we talked about last time. Yeah,
the plantation mentality, they're still stuck within it, and they want to drag you back in. I mean, I had one geezer that was listening to this other geezer talking. From the strength of it, he said on Facebook, "Oh, I've just Googled Tommy Robinson. Oh, you're right, mate." Implying that the way this geezer was talking was right. Now, we all know with Google, with the searches, and we were talking about it before, the way they manipulate the algorithms, that they can heighten something. So if they want to project someone as a negative person, as soon as you tap in that name, then negative will come up straight away.
If you Google Tommy Robinson, you're going to get all kinds of fake news.
Exactly. But
and you should have seen an article they wrote about me in Sweden. It was one Swedish journalist that wrote about me. I was a anti-Semitic, far-right Christian fundamentalist, nut job Nazi, homophobe, transphobe, every single word you could find.
You are Hitler, mate. My word.
Literally Hitler.
Reincarnation there, dude. How does it feel? It's crazy, isn't it? It's silly. But they've got the total right and legitimacy to tie you with every one of them bristles of that brush. But yet you do it back to them, and it's the worst thing ever. And it's silly that it becomes an us and them thing. It's just absolutely ridiculous. You use that same branding with them, and you'd be in prison within.
I think we should sort of call these far left people. We should start calling them just communists. Stalin, literally Stalin.
Call them out for what they are. Yeah, that's their ideology. That's the way they're talking, and that's what they want to do. They want to shut down. And it's funny that even if you can talk to people on the street, and because they don't even know the left and right paradigm, but they still so believe in the left side, even though you try and break it down to them, they won't see it.
We have a Leighton T here. He says, representing Manchester very well. You feel proud of you, pal. He says, because lots of nice comments in the chat for you, by the way.
Cheers, mate.
I have a let's see. Demarcation asks why we think the EU wants mass migration. I think we talked about that before. We have there was one guy here. He has let me just find his name. Thinking man, a great guest, very open. I'm just trying to find the name of this guy. He was asking something about Manchester United here.
Oh, okay. Lukaku.
Yeah, George Bell here. What thoughts on Rooney to Everton?
Oh, geez. Right. This is not probably going to come across well. Rooney has been a cash cow for a long time. Rooney has probably never really had full affection for United. And maybe he has, maybe I'm wrong. But it's a guy who's been earning a hell of a lot of money. I mean, I'll never forget when he held Fergie up to ransom. And for several years back, United fans will know it, probably other fans won't remember it, that he forced Fergie into a corner where he was on the verge of leaving, or you pay me more money. And Fergie gave into it. I think that should have told a lot of people where he was at. Now, he's been a brilliant player, legend, scored all the goals. Everyone loves him. Yeah, kiss his boots, all the great. But, I've got my ideas about football in general. And the amount of money they earn and the way we see them all as gods, and it's all pretty much a diversionary tactic. Anyway.
It's a bit of bread and circus, to be honest.
Of course, it's not even a bit of, mate. It's totally bread and circus, and people buy into that more than race. Yeah. People are more inclined to fight over the football team they support rather than the colour of the skin. In certain degrees.
I think in America the equivalent is, if there's an American listener, football in the UK is like the equivalent of what is it called? American, football, soccer. in the
Yeah.
UK is equivalent to American football. That's the kind of popularity it has in the UK, I
Yeah.
think.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh no,
It's
it's without a doubt, it's magnanimous. It's so big. It's the culture for the average male now that, because too many of them don't display too much independent thought. The only other thing is to get involved in tribalism, and the tribalism tends to be the football or whatever else. I mean, but going back to the point of Rooney, yeah, I'm glad he's going. I'm so glad he's going, because he's kind of, if I'm going to buy into it, even though he was on crazy money, even though he's not truly a Manchester United, he's always got Everton at heart. I'm glad he's going, back to Everton. But if I heard right, I think he's trying to hold Everton to ransom as well. He's trying to get more money out of them. I don't know for sure, because I don't follow it. I really don't follow it. I just watch the games every now and then. My wife, as a side note, is probably the most radical Manchester United fan you have ever met. Honestly. Honestly, yeah. We can't go to pubs and watch it with my wife, because she's emotional. She's very on it, very articulate. So guys will kind of put her in the paradigm where, because she's a woman, what's the offside rule? And that's the last thing you should say to my wife, because she will kind of make you regret it. But no, I kind of sit back a little bit, and I think,
I'm not into football that much myself. I did sit behind Sven-Göran Eriksson, the manager, the Swedish manager. I sat behind him on a plane once, on a trip he's been. I think the Swedish government has been going after him a bit recently on the tax things. They don't like people who leave Sweden for other countries. The Swedish government have a tendency to want to go after them to get their tax money. It's.
I mean, I'm not an establishment geezer by any means, Peter, but I mean, football is one of the big ones. That the amount of money that passes through the systems in Europe and globally, they all know ways of negating them and doing little tax havens. Are all loopholes and all legal, and you shouldn't really bother. But at the same time, they're denying millions and millions of taxpayers' money. At the bottom line, if we decide to do a loophole, I'll tell you what, I'll pay my 20% tax now through the Cayman Islands, and then let's see what the Inland Revenue say to me on my next tax return, and it'll be something like clunk, click, jail when you decide to pay your tax bill. So for these guys to kind of just literally do it straight in our faces, football's like that because they're so multi-million. I mean, I'm sure they've had all deals written into the contracts where they can manipulate the figures so they're only paying so much to here, and this will do that, and that all works. I mean, that's how you can suddenly get a signature of a player, or you don't. I've heard of players not wanting to sign because they want to pay, they're paying too much tax. So unless you're going to kind of oversee that and da-da-da. So to me, I mean, they call the City of London the laundering capital of the world, don't they? So,
I think if you look at the look back at the Second World War, there was only 10% tax, and that was during wartime. Look at us now; we have ridiculous amounts of tax going on. The leftists, the kind of welfare socialist leftist state has really taken over by stealth. I mean, back then there was almost no tax. Now just look at it, more and more tax, and the economy isn't doing any better for it. On the contrary, it's doing worse, because
I think they've done a study not so long back that someone worked out if they rolled back up to the size and the amount of money they spend in 2004. I mean, someone might be able to check this out, but I'm sure it was something like this. They could abolish it altogether just by the level of expenditure it was so many years ago, because governments by nature grow bigger. You get more and more regulations. You get more and more bodies that have to be on the fringes of it to make sure they're overseeing.
More and more bureaucracy, which makes it more expensive,
costs more and more money.
Tax. It's just a mess.
Before you know it, you've got the one central control system.
Yeah.
And that's really what government is always. Government don't want to kind of have your back. Government wants to be your big brother. They
Yeah.
want to tell you what to eat. They want to do, tell you how to go about your job. All the different rules.
Yeah.
And if you're subservient to it, fair enough. If you want to live that system, but
Yeah.
a lot of people don't want to, and they're getting feeling more and more oppressed of a system that is constantly prejudging them, telling them they can't do things, and then people seeing the injustices of other people that are totally getting away with it.
Yeah. We got a very nice comment here, by the way, from Lynn C. This man is gold. Thanks for
Love it.
commenting from to
Thank
Phil
you.
to Phil there.
Nice one.
Yo Mofo asks if Phil will decorate his auntie's living room and dining room. Well, if anyone needs a painter decorator, well, I guess.
I'm sorry, could you repeat who sent that, please?
Yo Mofo is his name. I don't know.
Okay, right.
If he wants
Well,
to, if he wants to, if you want, well, if you want some work, maybe. If anyone here in the stream needs any decorating done, maybe can contact me and I can give it to Phil.
get
Maybe.
some work, yeah. Maybe I should have worn my overalls just to totally get in character. Maybe I could do a rant whilst painting my walls. I could do tips on how to paint a wall, plus how I feel
That's gonna be
about the
popular.
build at the same time.
Yeah,
Easy.
yeah. And another guy here asks if we too will do a weekly show.
Well, that'd be cool.
I don't know.
Interesting. You know what I like about these conversations, Peter, is that we're drifting off.
Yeah,
We're talking about whatever. We're two people who've got a brain in our head, and we kind of know.
We could do like I could gather like I don't know. Potentially, I could gather like the week's best news, and we could discuss it. Maybe
Cover it.
comment on it.
Sounds
Maybe
good.
that would be an idea if you want to.
I'm up for that, mate. I'd have to sort my laptop out and get over that because I couldn't be holding a phone every time we do it. But yeah, that's no problem. That sounds a good idea.
And I think we've been going for quite a while, so I think we'll wrap this live stream up here shortly. Let's see if there's any more good questions here from any of the commenters here. Let me just see here. I'm just going through some of the chat.
I mean, I'd just like to say, while we've got a bit of a pause, I guess, just thank you to everyone that's commented on the YouTube, whether it be positive or negative, but particularly the positive. You don't know how much that has done for me when I've been kind of sat in bed, 11 o'clock at night, wondering why did I open my mouth? Why has all this come to the way it is? And I'm getting all this flooding of comments. But so many different people are saying so many nice things that are keeping me head up, keeping my confidence high, keeping me going. So I'm going to bounce that back to everyone, in terms of what that's done there. That will resonate out, you know what I mean? We should all feel that that's a topic that resonates with everyone,
Yeah.
So brilliant, thank you.
Yeah, excellent. Here's a good question. There's apparently I haven't actually seen much of this, but apparently there was a dinner lady. I think she lost her job after attending a march in Manchester.
Really?
I haven't seen much of it, but apparently people are commenting there was a dinner lady who lost her job after she was suspended from her job after attending a march in Manchester.
Was it just purely to attending it, or was it because certain things were said, or she should have been in work? Or...
It seems that she was attending the march. She was a far-right Nazi. From what I see, I haven't actually seen the story myself, but the guys in the comment section are talking about it.
Totally wrong. Everyone should get behind it. Should find out what the school is, and the pupils in that. The pupils, the parents should have an opinion here, and should anyone who believes in what the
I'm not sure if it was a school or if it was on a job. Let me see if the guys in the chat have any more to add on that.
But I mean, if you'd attended a march. Unless you're actually the one who's filmed throwing bottles and, let's have it, come on, then yeah, I get why the next day you might go and work. The guy might want you sacked, of course, because that's not what we're about. But we all know the kind of, anyone who's got half a brain cell knows that that march had a more positive vibe than negative. There was negative aspects there, and there always will be. But I know from what happened here with me and yourself, with all the filming
It was,
and whatnot.
it seems to be a dinner lady at a school that was suspended. She isn't fired, but she was suspended for purely attending the march, the same that we were attending.
Totally out of order, against the law. Hopefully she knows. Hopefully she knows her rights. Hopefully she's a confident lady that can stand up, that's not being beaten down to peer pressure. That's all you can kind of hope for. But it is one person, and that one person is a dinner lady, and that one person could really be beaten down if you've got a very hardcore headmaster, headmistress kind of spouting down a liberal set of ways on you. So I can see why they might cave in. And even if you do prove your point, then there's every chance they might still get rid of you. But I hope she's...
it seems like it was on the rebel media here. Tommy Robinson was talking about it.
Right.
Yeah, it's... but that's the thing, you know. That's why the left wants to scare people from attending these things, but they're doxing them, kicking them from their jobs, and so on. And this is not the first case that's happened. There's been loads of other cases, and yeah, that's why it's so important to
expose it.
Yeah, expose it, and either go anonymous, or if you, I think you have your own business. I think.
Yes, I'm subcontracting to another firm.
Okay.
So I basically do more site work. The firm is a firm based not in Manchester. And I've spoke to the bosses. The bosses have found it all quite comical, to be honest with you.
Okay, so they're fine. Yeah. Well, it depends on who the companies are as well.
Because they know what I'm like. They know what my ideals are like. They know I've got a mouth in my head. They know I can speak my point. I mean, it was funny because one of the site managers from another job, because I flit around from different site to site, different locations, he rung me up and he's like, "Oh, I can't believe it when I seen it." He goes, because I said to the lad that was showing me, "You'll never win an argument against him." It's like, okay then. You know, he said, never mind what it was all about. You know, it's crazy how people can just see what they see from a particular clip. But you know, I mean, my bosses had no problem with it. I've not had any issue. Now I can understand in a school scenario how that might be totally different, because schools, like we spoke about before, mate, they're indoctrination camps. They are so liberal. I've got it with my own kids, both of them. One is just left high school. One is in the last, or coming up next year, in the last year of primary. Now, we had issues with her and her headmistress, not because of what my daughter done, but because the way the school was acting, they was encroaching on what you would regard as parents' kind of control.
Yeah.
Basically, it was out of school time, and they took it upon themselves to do a certain course of action. When we redressed it, they made out as if they had every right to do it. They decided to get a panel of people together to kind of decide that we were wrong. And so we, you know, that was the way they went on. They just want to take over. They feel they've got more and more control over kids' lives. So it's for every individual to kind of wake up and go, you know, I'm not having this. I'm not having it. Yeah, you know, in certain areas.
No, we need to stand up and say, no, this is not okay. We have to stand up for ourselves and say that they cannot bully us. The left cannot bully us.
I tell you, my ultimate goal, Peter, is when we see the next UK Against Hate march that is as big, that is promoted as well nationally on all mediums as the vigil was, in such a positive light, and when it's attended by so many people of so many different ethnicities and diversities and age groups, whether they know what was going on or not, they just realise they need to attend. That is the promised land, because where we're at the moment is kind of nowhere near that. But you can see, where the zombie visual got you, and you can see what the common sense visual got you. So I think through this video alone, we'll add a few more onto that march, but the ultimate goal is to totally override and overtake that, because that is just not leading us anywhere. We need to be, you know, more open about what's actually going on, don't we?
Yeah, I have one more question here I think I'll take, and then we'll probably wrap this live stream up. Jim Pallainen asked if you see a peaceful resort to the state of the West, or do you think there's a civil war brewing? What do you think?
Well, what do I think? I think, unfortunately, I do see some kind of civil unrest breaking out. I can see people that are probably less educated that are going to start it off. I can see that they might be used as stooges to start off a chain reaction if it's not started already. Politically, I can't see it changing. Now, whether it's because they don't want to change their mind, or whether
all it needs to happen is something in Hamburg, for example, all the Antifa rioting, and maybe you would have some migrants rioting, and then you would have right-wingers deciding to stand up and say, no, this is not okay, and then you would have basically a civil war on your hands.
I mean,
that's all it takes.
It's going to happen, Peter, because there's so many people that are, at the moment, they're not really making the point clear because they are being beaten down by political correctness. So there's a lot of people that have not got the confidence, and maybe through peer pressure, maybe because of what job they do, for whatever reason, that, you know, they're in a minority of the way of thinking. So they don't want to stand out of that, because by doing that, you're putting yourself in a place where, you know what, I'm glad the light is flashing on me now. I feel like, you know, Billie Jean, you know, when he's standing on the paving stones, and every paving stone is like, I'm like, great, I love it. And I don't mind that people can see it, because I've had enough. Not to say I'm shouting it from the rooftops, but I don't mind being in the position I'm in. And I think people have got to get to that point, but I can see that people are it's going to manifest in probably the wrong way before it does manifest in the correct way. But that probably feeds to their narrative, because, again, if you look at the order out of chaos theory, they don't mind whatever way it goes, because whatever the way it goes, it's almost kind of going to be a police state anyway. So it's more than ever, you've got to be really mindful of your actions and the way you go. And the last thing you want to do is start getting physical. We could all run through the streets and start beating up whoever we want, but
I think, unfortunately, I think either way, I think it's going to be authoritarian, either left or right.
The police state is kind of coming. And you've got too many of the elites that are kind of against the Trump, whether Trump's a shill, whether he's whatever he is. I mean, his ideals seem to be against the establishment, hence the establishment all hating him. They always say, you know, the enemy of the enemy is my friend. So it's always the same thing, isn't it? You know, you've got to look at why he's got so many enemies, and what he's actually achieving. Now, it's whether he'll get to do it anyway, but he's only one person. You need collaborative. You need our Prime Minister to be kind of on that wavelength, not making out she is, but then not being like that. I mean, why Corbyn's there, I have no idea. He's just total agitation.
He's a communist.
Well, you know, we all know that. But the younger generation in this country are all sold on the free education, because that's what they think they need. They think they need a university diploma or whatever it is in certain subject that probably won't serve them justice throughout the career, but then they've been tagged with so many £1,000 bills. So, hey, if someone over there is saying he can give me free tuition, you know what, I'm up for him. And
they just want for free stuff.
It's crazy, you know, and that's where your mentality goes, and you're going to lead the ship. I mean, how many people, how much can you actually subsidise that for if that was actually become mandatory? You can't afford that. At what point does the money run out? Where do you get it from? I mean, with the migrant thing going on as well, I mean, that's money that's now being speculated on, that now we have to pay interest over a certain date. So we're not paying the bill for this now. probably
Yeah.
2
No,
generations
yeah.
down the line.
What we're seeing today is what the decisions politicians made 10, 15 years ago is the result of what we're seeing today. Imagine what we're going to see in 10, 15 years from now with all of the disastrous decisions the politicians have done nowadays. It's not going to be nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's not nice, but in a way that people, have said to me, well, what's the point in knowing all this anyway? Because there's nothing you can do about it. And when I hear that, I think, you know what? You decide what water you want to drink. You decide what food you want to put in your mouth. You decide where you want to spend your money. You decide what TV program you're going to subscribe to. All these things, you decide what team you want to go and spend your money on a shirt. So if you pull away your consent and everyone in a collaborative way pulls away from something, that something becomes null and void. That is people power. We've all got that. But we've all got to exercise that instead of thinking, oh, well, I'm only one person, so I might as well eat that McDonald's because, it don't really matter. What's me not eating a burger not going to do? But if we all wake up to it, they do realise that their profits are being slashed. So they do then start to think, well, maybe we should start putting better ingredients in it. Maybe we should start, I'm just using McDonald's as an example. It's but it's informative. The more you're informed, the better it is. It's never a nice place when you're informed because you can kind of see, you think, bloody hell, that's the darker side to that. When I'm looking at that TV program, they're telling me it's all gay and sunshiny and it's brilliant. But when I'm actually looking at it, it's not like that at all. But hey, I'd rather be given the accurate information than totally hoodwinked.
Yeah, so excellent. And is there anything you would like to finish on?
No, I've kind of said it all, mate. I just hope people really look into their own depths of what they want and what their moral compass is and what they truly want as an individual. Yeah. And that's collaborative with everyone. I mean, all this is run off from 22 people plus dying, stroke injured from a bombing. So I'm not going to forget that. It's not all about me. I'm just one person saying nothing, one person of many. There's many people who's been on the YouTube, who's been commenting, who's just as much intelligent.
Yeah, there's lots of good comments.
It's absolutely fantastic, Peter. I mean, that's a positive thing, but I mean, we all should kind of stick together and know that obviously we are being slightly hoodwinked with what's going on, but at the same time, there's a bit of a movement that's starting to develop here, and I think whether you call it a wake-up movement, the common sense movement, whatever you want to call it, just people just realizing, let's cut through the flannel. And then these big guys will start to realize there's a large pocket of people that are not buying into it. And they can either double down, which, like CNN with the Trump meme thing, will only give them the Streisand effect, or they can actually adopt and change. It's up to them, really is. But I can only work as an individual. As an individual, I am totally happy in the skin that I'm in, and I encourage everyone to red pill themselves up to the max. It will not be a happy place. You're going to read stories, you're going to watch videos that are going to probably send you to bed at night and think, geez, that wasn't too pretty. But it's accurate. It will wear off, and then you start to think, you know what, life is life. There's all kinds of nasty things that have gone on over civilizations over the years, so I'm not afraid of it. I'm not then going to turn to Simon Cowell or Hampton Deck and look at them as my saviour, because they're the ones that are leading me to destruction. They're Muppets. Yeah. Total Muppets. They might be funny, but the Muppets they're totally blinding you to what is actually reality. Yeah, no, on definitely. Every conscious level going. So, I mean, that's my only message. Just everyone just kind of raise your consciousness level up a little bit and just try and navigate through this total storm that this info storm that we're riding at this moment in time.
Yeah, no, that's excellent. And I'll just read some comments here. I think you liked them as well. A big shout out to Lynn C, by the way, in the chat. Thanks a lot there. And so I got some good comments here for you, Phil. Boyle here, thanks, Peter. Phil, great stream. Baked Beans says a great live stream. Hope we see more of Phil. A great lad, love him. Lindsay here says, thanks, Peter and Phil, and folks in chat. Sam Hill doesn't want us to stop talking.
Oh, wow. I could stay longer, mate. I could stay
JT
longer.
Smith, well done, Phil. You smashed it. Great stream, guys. Phil needs Twitter and YouTube channel. Give us another hour, please. See if I have any more here. Great broadcast, lads. Thanks. Red Pill Army marching strong.
Yeah.
Phil, the Red Pill Doctor.
Oh, the Red Pill Doctor. You know, it's funny because one of the comments on the early days of the video going kind of viral, one of the comments was like, he said he's spraying red pills like he's in a candy store. And I thought, whoa.
Yeah.
I thought that was funny. It was
Itchy too, Claire comments what you said here regarding the info war and stuff here. He says that you couldn't have said it any better. Respect, man, he says.
Okay.
The internet should crown Phil the red-pilled Phil.
Oh, red-pilled Phil.
Hope you guys do this more often, says Steve Josh. Big Phil dropping the red. If there's any more, you smash it, bro. If there's any more, great chat. Two Jews just speaking common sense in not that common nowadays.
You're right there. Crazy world we're living in, Peter. Yeah. You know, there's times I feel, honestly, I'm gonna put this allegory to you and see if it fits with the way you feel and see if anyone else fits it. There's times I feel, whether it be the circle that I'm working with, the circle that I live around, or the general population that I'm kind of around on a day-to-day basis. If anyone's watched the film One Flew Out of a Cuckoo's Nest, Jack Nicholson.
Okay, no, I haven't seen.
You haven't seen it? Okay, right. It's a film where he's a criminal that's been a bit of a petty thief, but he gets put into a lunatic asylum because he pleads that he's, instead of manning up and doing a jail time, he goes for the next best thing, thinks he's getting out on an easy ride, so he tries then to make out as if he's crazy. So he'll end up having an easy time in a mental institution. So when he gets there, he gets what he wants, by the way. So he gets put in this mental institution. He's fully compos mentis. He's as compos mentis as you and I now. So he arrives at this mental institution. You can imagine there's all kinds of people doing all kinds of things. It looks quite dire. He is as sane as it goes. He's got a big smirk on his face. He's feeling like king of the hill.
Okay.
Now, at that moment, he feels, you know what, everyone around here is absolutely off it. and that's how I feel at times. I feel like it's like an episode of The Walking Dead, where you kind of walk in, and not that I have to start using daggers and knives and punching people and, whatever, but it's just like, whoa, people are just so lobotomized. And I feel like I'm the only sane person coming out with a rational point here. So I'll throw that out there, mate, to see if it resonates with you. It probably doesn't.
A lot of people in the chat say that they've seen the film and they like it.
Good film. Classic film, mate. You should watch it. But in terms, this guy says that taking pills that actually send him funny.
This guy says that it's true what you're saying here. Okay, yeah.
Wow, that is fact checking for you.
There's one guy here, Leighton T, in the chat. He apparently has a question that I haven't seen. If he wants to ask that question again, I'll see if this is a good question. I might put it to Phil before we finish.
I'll just try and stick this light on, Peter. Sorry for stretch over. Just to look like.
Oh yeah, no problem. Yeah, some people are complaining about the light. Yeah.
Sorry, guys.
Okay, yeah. Leighton T wants to know. Okay, I'll take this last question, and then I think we'll finish then. Leighton T wants to know about the Didsbury Mosque.
Right.
Didsbury Mosque is the one that Tommy Robinson has been on to, that they've been preaching radical Islam over there. I think it's in Manchester.
Oh yeah. I'm totally aware where Didsbury Mosque is. I mean, in what context does he want me to kind of say anything? And what from what they've been doing? Well, I mean, what does he want me to say? I mean, it's
what do you think of
a joke.
Yeah,
it's a joke. It's a total joke. It's straight there in the face.
yeah.
You kind of disregarding.
Do you think that should
the
be
whole
closed
area.
down?
It's hard for me to say because I don't know enough facts. You've got to establish who is behind bringing them in. What's the ideal of the place? You know, it's easy to go all out. You know, let's hate the Muslim kind of mentality here. Now, maybe certain people have to be pulled to account within that mosque in order for it to be seen that something is getting done.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not saying just stop there, but you know, how far do you want to go? I mean, do you want to get the pitchforks out? Burn it, burn it. It's just like you've got to. What's not happening, which I totally agree with my friend there who's just made that comment, is that nothing is getting done. Nobody's, pinpointing that place as a place of nurturing radical Islam.
Yeah.
When Tommy Robinson, anyone else has gone, they smiled in his face and they can't really disagree with what he's saying, but they don't want to do it. You know, and when you hear about the police every time something happens, they want a photo with a Muslim and, let's go to the nearest mosque. It's wrong. It's totally wrong.
Yeah, it's because from what I've seen, they've had these radical preachers there as well. I mean, I don't think that should be allowed.
No, not at all. Not at all. I mean, they shouldn't be allowed in the country.
No.
Never mind back to that mosque. I mean, I tell you what, the taxi that he was in, close that down. The plane that he flew in, close that down. The airport in which he come in on, close that down. Because that's where our lunacy is getting. It's that you don't need a mentality like that in our country, full stop. So the first point they enter, unless he's swum in, in his Speedos and undetected, and he's just crawled his way to Didsbury Mosque, then there's nothing we can be done. But I'm not even going to say it's not about the mosque, because of course it is, but we are letting it happen. It's being facilitated. Now, whether it's police, whether it's governmental bodies, whether it's local councils, whether it's all of them, they're all allowing it to happen. They're not saying anything. And when someone like yourself brings it up, they go, oh, well, you can't talk about that. You're being a bit racist there, aren't you? That's the Muslim community that's getting on with life. So it's totally right.
It's political correctness is used to try and shut down speech.
Well, exactly. So it's how far you want to go with it. You've got to start right at the top with this and not just go straight to the bottom and go, all right, okay, let's look at the mosque. Because it's not just about that one mosque. The ideology will be spread all over the place. I mean, there'll be phones in that place, so they'll be in contact with all over. That will be kind of spreading all kinds of ideology. So it's just an ideology, full stop. But I agree, it's got people of them mosques have got to stand out and say, we're doing everything we can. We're going to show the community that is non-Muslim that we are doing everything we can. Even if we publicly shame people that have got radical views that we have no interest and disavow it and do all the rest of it. If they'd done that with the public, then it might sway. The optics might be a little bit better, but no one's doing any of that.
Yeah.
So what conclusions do you draw from that?
Yeah, no, I think we should... to be honest, I don't think mosques have anything to do at all in the West. I think that's my personal opinion. I think I don't think we should have any mosques at all, because there's too big of a chance that they preach dangerous stuff, and it's especially anyone that's caught doing any kind of radical Islam teaching should definitely be deported straight away.
Well, I mean, it goes back to the argument before, doesn't it, mate? I mean, can I go to Saudi? Can I go to Qatar? Can I decide I'm just going to build a Catholicist church, Christian church, Protestant church, whatever? You know, you pull out a Bible, what will happen? So you've
Yeah.
got tolerance that only works one way. We've got us that are being totally tolerant, allowing you, not you, but the other migrants to come in, whatever, the other race of people, whatever, and we're being totally politically correct, liberal, libertarian. Let's all have it. We don't mind. We love everybody. But there's anyone with half a brain can see there's a bit of exploitation there. Whereas if it does not work both ways, then you've got people who are going to look at it and think it's unjust. If I'm allowed to walk into wherever, round a mosque, eating a bacon butter without them looking at me because I'm in my own country, I'm not doing it because I want to
Yeah, there
wind
was
you
actually
up.
in Sweden. There was this guy who was eating bacon on a train in front of some Muslim women with hijabs on, and he got arrested for.
He got arrested.
Yeah, he. I think he wasn't just sitting by himself. He was agitating a little bit, but he still got arrested.
Right.
He was dangling the
Right.
bacon in the air like.
But this is
And he got
it's
he
going
got
to pull that
arrested.
out though, isn't it? If you've got a society of people that are feeling let down, and your own establishment is not sticking up for your rights, the harbouring people that are telling you that what you've done for hundreds of years is wrong, and
Yeah.
you've got your own establishment and going, well, you know what, they're right. You know what, they're right. You can't hold that piece of bacon up. So it's going to make you feel, you know what, I'm going to turn from a normal geezer that just wants to eat my bacon butter to now I'm going to pick it out. I'm going to ruin my butter and I'm going to dangle it in your face because I'm not agitated and I'm not kind of peeved with the way everything's going and no one's lit. And it's going to bring that more and more.
Yeah.
You're going to bring a more... I wouldn't say the guy's ignorant because maybe the guy felt it was funny at the time.
No, it's going to be a backlash. People get angry. Some people lose it.
And if that guy was feeling that his rights as an individual, as a countryman, were being adhered to, that would never applied. If that woman knew if she had an hijab on, if she walked like a freaking ninja, whatever, if she had the full suit on, it doesn't matter. But if she knew that she was in a country where, you know what, the overruling ideology is either Catholicism, it's either, Protestant, or it's either live and let live. So not so much my speech is being dumbed down, but I am going to respect in which the country I'm in. So I'm not going to try and force my own opinions and ideology in a country that I'm not even in. Not even,
as I said before,
it just doesn't make any sense. So if she come from that background, then that would stop him doing that. But for her to question him eating a sandwich, and like you say, if he's gone a step further, then fair play to him. What are you supposed to do? I just hope he ate the bacon at the end of it because it's a waste of my bacon. I love my bacon.
Yeah, bacon is quite nice.
I just hope the red sauce didn't get all over the hijab, or whether he had brown sauce. I'm not sure.
I don't know. I don't think people eat ketchup or brown sauce with bacon in Sweden that much.
Oh, right. Okay. It's not mayo, is it, Peter?
No, I mean, what do you eat bacon? You often have some people in Sweden eat bacon with pancakes.
Oh, right. Okay.
I don't think you really eat bacon, or you can have ketchup. I don't know. You don't have what do you eat bacon for with in Sweden? You don't eat that much bacon. It's more meatballs and potatoes. But,
oh, okay. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Everyone's different, mate. That's the beauty of it, isn't it?
Yeah, in England you like bacon much more than in Sweden, that's for sure. That's something I found out.
The full English has a true, deep cultural meaning in this country, Peter.
Yeah, there's no in Sweden you eat for breakfast you have a sandwich with cheese.
Right.
And a glass of milk, that's breakfast in Sweden.
Right, okay. Well, I mean, in this country, I guess you can range from fruit to muesli to cereal to toast. Everyone's diverse, but I'm a kind of a working class guy, so not that I start my day. I actually start my working day with no breakfast and eat a lunch. I'll probably eat on the go. I'll eat a banana or a bit of fluid. But if I've got a weekend off, my family know I'm in the kitchen and I'm cooking
Yeah.
a full English on a Saturday and a Sunday, and that consists of a couple of pieces of meat thrown around a place with a few eggs and, you know, mushrooms and toast and the whole array. Full English, a total full English, as I
Yeah.
am.
Yeah.
Some people wouldn't see it that way. Depends where you want to go with that one, Peter.
Yeah. Excellent. I think we've taken all the questions really here that most people had. I think it's maybe a good time to wrap this live stream up. What do you think, Phil?
Okay, no problem, mate. That's fine with that.
Yeah,
It's been a good
excellent.
chat.
Yeah, I think so. It's been it's been a good, very good chat, and we had quite a lot of viewers here. I can see we've had. I can check it quickly if you want. How many viewers we've had so far? We had almost 1,000 viewers in total here.
Right.
So yeah, and then it will be up on the channel as well, so people can watch it again later.
Right.
So we're going to get a lot more views, I think.
Okay.
Excellent.
Well,
Yeah,
I mean, you know, it's been brilliant, mate, for people to invite this conversation. As in, we've not been talking about anything in kind of depth. We're just talking as two common sense people. But people for them to be getting it and want more. It's fantastic. I'm not an expert in anything. You're not an expert in anything. We're just two people who've seen what we've seen. And can I just say, Peter, I'm so impressed with the age of yourself and the fact when we had that last conversation that you kind of said to me that you was only red pill from 2014. I'm thinking, my word, you have caught up quick.
Yeah, thanks.
Very quick.
Thanks.
Very quick.
Yeah,
I'm
thanks
sure
a lot.
It's not been by choice, but
no, it hasn't.
It doesn't matter how you were saying it.
Yeah, no, thanks. It's been a bit like I say, being red pill is not that easy. It can make people a bit, when they see what's actually going on. It's can be a bit depressing sometimes, but no, I try and keep positive.
That's all you got to do, mate.
Yeah,
that's
excellent.
all we can do, isn't it?
Yeah, excellent. Yeah, I think we'll finish this live stream here, and thank you very much for watching, guys. Everyone, please leave a like, share this with your friends on social media, and we'll see you later. Have a good
Cheers,
day.
guys. Nice one.
Yeah, have a good day.